BA, let's talk about some series leaders here. So what are we looking at? What has changed for you from game one to game two?
So I love after game one in particular is a great chance to look at series leaders, especially on rebounds and assists, because we get those advanced metrics, rebound chances, potential assists. What are we not seeing or not noticing that we can pull the numbers on the next day? The books are going to adjust to the lines of what actually happened because, that actually counts. We'd like to actually win, not potentially win, but we can bet on potentials and potential rebounds and assists evening out with 4 or 5 more games, maybe 6 games to get there still. So I'll start with assists. Coming into the series, I was on both J-Dub and Ant for assist leader. Obviously, only one can get it, but I was fading Shea. I look very silly right now if you look at the assist numbers because last night, Naz Reid led the Timberwolves in assists with 4. That's it. Shea had 9. So Shea's got 9. Kaysen had 7. And then not a lot after that. J-Dub had 5, Conley 3, Ant only with 3. So Shea came in with the favorite, and he's got the favorite on assists per game on the season. And basically, based on that information and 9 assists in game one, it feels like he's the runaway leader. And that's what books are telling us. That's how he is priced now, as high as like minus 2,500 I've seen. And I think that that's a little ridiculous, because underneath are the numbers that are potential assists. Julius Randle was our leader with 10, not Ben Julius. He only had 1. I'd prefer a little bit less of Julius handling the ball. He could be in the mix. He was very good in last round with assists as well. Shea did have 10 potentials, but he converted 9. Normally, you can expect something around half of those to convert. So that tells me Shea should have really had about 5 assists last night. Now, he didn't. He had 9. That start counts. We got some ground to make up. J-Dub had 8 potentials. Ant had 7. That's right there. That's a little behind. And again, that's what we're expecting is a little bit behind. So getting a little behind and being a lot behind in reality, not a great start. But it's only been 1 game. The numbers underlying still say, other than game 1 going forward, those 3 and maybe Julius all look pretty similar to each other on assists, and we'll see who gets it. So I'm going to double down on assist leader. I'm going to go back to the well on both guys again. I'm still saying that Shea is not necessarily the clear leader here. Ant is 14-1 for most assists. J-Dub is 16-1. I think if you've not bet this market yet, this is a good chance to get in and have a couple long shots here. If you have bet it like I have, I think you maybe go in like half of your first size and double down a little bit, add your position 1 time. If it happens again in game 2, we just take our loss, and I think that's that. But I think rather than playing the game 2 assists, let's see. Let's see if Shea ends up only down around 5 like where he was expected, and let's see if we get, maybe J-Dub 7 or 8, Ant 7 or 8. Suddenly that market looks a lot different after that one. So assist leader, I think, is primed. Rebounds leader, we're doubling down. Anthony Edwards, 50-1 was our guy. That was my best bet on the whole series going in. Stop the count, baby. Ant is our leader right now with 9 rebounds. Game 1 set up perfectly for us with rebounds. He has 9 rebounds on 13 chances. That's about 2/3. That's exactly what he'd been against OKC. It's exactly what he'd been in the playoffs so far. He did what we thought. He got those rebounds. Even better, Rudy Gobert, 3 rebounds. That's great. That was our top competition on Minnesota. He had 3 rebounds on 12 chances. Those numbers are going to go up. He's going to play more minutes. I think he'll play a bunch more in game 2. iHeart, your guy Brandon, 5 rebounds, 13 chances. Our big men are not closing down on these rebounds. That's 39% for iHeart, 25% for Rudy. Our big men are not getting the rebounds. Chet had 7 on 17. That looks like the main competition right now. Julius had 8. Naz had 8. Those guys actually outperformed rebound expectations. Somehow Isaiah Joe led the Thunder on rebounding off the bench. He rebounded all 8 of his chances. Hooray for the ball bouncing straight to me 8 times is what I get out of that. All of the numbers to me say Ant is exactly what we thought going in. Keep playing the over 6.5 rebounds. Play the 6 rebounds per game minus 210 if you haven't done that yet. That still looks like a great price. I don't need to add to that, but keep playing the Ant rebounds. Like Gilles said, if there's a prop you like, play it until they tell you not to. And we're not there yet. But I think Ant looks good for rebounds. The big men in the series look even worse than I hope that they might look for rebounds in game one. So if we keep going that direction, even at 5-1, if you're new to the market, I think that's still a good price to get in. If you got the 50-1, you probably don't need to add too much here, but you can get in a second time. I still think that's a good number either way. Jill, I know you were on rebounds for Ant also. Did you play the series leader? Are you still playing game 2 and going forward?
You have to bring that up. I'm kicking myself right now for not taking that because I literally gave out Anthony Edwards over 6.5 rebounds. That was one of my best bets, but why didn't I double down? Such a silly move by me. So the 5-1 is a very good number, even for the rest of this series. So if you're a little bit iffy on wanting to take the 6.5 at around -140. I've seen -155 at some points. Like you could still feel okay, maybe taking the 7.5 over as long as you're getting like +110, +120. So that way you could get a little bit of CLV on that front. But if you don't feel comfortable taking that and just it doesn't feel great, I would, again, just that's the easy way to back off and just take that 5-1. And I feel like you could cruise because, like you said, Chet is really the main competition for this. And he's just not playing as many minutes compared to what we're going to see with Ant, who is going to, barring injury, he is going to play 40+ minutes every game. And the rebound chances, I think, are just going to be consistent. So, again, at 5-1, I think this is a great price.
Yeah, especially if Rudy Gobert does get taken out of the series the way that it is looking like he's going to, then we're going to have more big men that are away from the basket and insert the guards and gobbling up those rebounds. Brandon, was that part of the thought process here?
Definitely. Like that was part of the thought process going in, is that I thought this series might trend small. I will say I don't think it's going to trend quite as small as we saw in game one. I think Minnesota needs more Rudy to stop Shea at the rim. And, you know, they didn't expect him to get in foul trouble, 2 fouls in the first minute, and that totally changes everything. Jill said earlier, like you had to play the small card right out of the gates. And then Oklahoma City, I think they prefer that. They're like, great, yeah, great. iHeart, you're out too. Chet, you're the 5. Let's space this thing out. Let's get some room for Shea. So I think we're going to get bigger. So I that's why your iHeart prop, I think, makes sense. If I had any faith in Rudy Gobert doing literally anything with the ball, I would have looked for an over with him here. I looked at turnovers because I was like, well, that's a thing he could do with the ball. I am the Minnesota hater after all. I think the series gets a little bigger than we saw in game one, but overall, I think it trends small, and that's part of what the cap was. Last series leader, this I don't even really have a cap for this. Shea scored 31 in game one. Ant only had 18. We knew coming into the series this is a tough series for Ant scoring. Shea's probably going to be the points leader. On principle, Ant is 25-1 to be the series leader in points. On principle, my man Ant is such a good scorer. He can bomb from 3, hit like 8 threes in a game. You're down 13 points after one game with the ability to drop 40 anytime you feel like it if the shots are falling. Or Shea rolls an ankle, misses a half for a game. Hopefully not if we just win this fair and square. If you're giving me Ant to lead anything in points at 25-1, with only 1/6 or 1/5 of the games played, I'm taking that every time. I think Shea's going to outscore him. 25-1, I'm taking Ant. I'll put a little nibble out there on it. I just feel like that's a number I have to play.